Are you dreading summertime coming, with the thought of even wearing a bathing suit or maybe even a sundress, or the thought of having to put on some Spanx all summer long, smelling like an old hot dog and sweating in that because you're just trying to hide your belly? Well, I know, I get it, because just last year I too was sweating in a daggone Spanx while in the Caribbean trying to look cute in a dress. So I am right there with you. And if you are a woman over 40, over 50 in perimenopause and want to get rid of that belly fat, then this video is definitely for you, because I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 things that I would do if I wanted to get rid of my belly fat by summer. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, or if you're new, you can go back and watch some of the old videos. I have gotten rid of my belly fat in a very short period of time by following these 5 easy tips that I'm going to be sharing with you here. So you can stick around to the very end, and I have a special little surprise, but let's dive right into the list right now. So one of the questions that I always get is, how long did it take you to lose your belly fat? Well, I started to see results after about, or maybe on about the 8th week. And then by the 90-day mark, then I had pretty much lost all of my belly fat. And to this day, the belly fat's pretty much gone, and I still just have a little bit of back fat, but that's just coming from some chips that I just can't seem to get to get rid of. But moving back to the list, the very first thing that I would do, or that, if I had to do it all over again, is I would enter this journey with a different mindset. I know we're just so consumed with wanting to lose an X amount of pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it is. We want to lose those pounds, and we want the scale to reflect that pound loss. But the first thing that you need to do is you just have to change your mindset about your body during this phase. Your body is going to do what it wants to do, whether you like it or not. So by changing your mindset, what I mean by that is, during perimenopause, there's so many things that's going on. And it may not necessarily be that you're trying to lose a whole lot of weight, because it's very easy to lose weight. So a weight loss journey is all about being in a calorie deficit, eating less calories than you burn. And then, of course, you will drop pounds. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get rid of any additional body fat. So whenever you want to get rid of body fat, the belly fat in particular, you need to be on a fat loss journey. Fat loss journey is about losing overall body fat, which may not equate to losing a lot of weight. And so I think once you kind of wrap your mind around the differences between weight loss journey and a fat loss journey, then I think that will help you to remain consistent throughout the actual process. So that is my tip number 1. When you're trying to get rid of the belly fat, I'm recommending that you choose to be on the fat loss journey. So moving on to tip number 2, which is really a piggyback off of tip number 1, has to do with the scale. Because you're choosing to be on the fat loss journey, you may not see any number whatsoever move on the scale. I know for the first, probably the first 30 days, I lost 1.5 pounds. But when I looked at my body, I could tell definitely that I had lost a lot of fat. So tip number 2 is stay your ass off the scale, or at least just limit the amount of times that you step on the scale in a month. I would maybe get on the scale, every 2 weeks. For me personally, I was only on the scale once a month, and I use other ways to measure, my success. Like, for example, trying on the same outfit and seeing how it fit, or actually just taking a lot of pictures. And the reason I chose to monitor my, progress this way is because I didn't want to get disappointed, which was really going to set me back. If I stepped on that scale and it said that I lost only 1 pound in 30 days, then I thought that I was a failure. But when I start to look at my pictures, the pictures said, hey girl, you are making progress. So stay your ass off the scale and find other ways to measure your success. That's my tip number 2. So we're moving on to tip number 3. So I know you're probably thinking, well, honey, tip number 1 and tip number 2 told me absolutely nothing about how I'm going to lose my belly fat. Well, you cannot lose your belly fat if you don't have the right mindset and if you don't have the right discipline to not do something, which is not stepping on the scale all the time, every day, twice a day. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of how you're going to be losing this belly fat. So my 3rd tip, and I'm sure you've heard it just like I heard it, is to increase the amount of protein that you're eating. And when I used to hear increase the amount of protein that you're eating, all I could think about was, gosh, how much steak, how much beef, how much meat can I eat? I don't really want to be eating like that. Well, once I really, found a method to, increasing my protein, then that's when I started to see results. So for me, I eat anywhere between 120 to 150 grams of protein per day. And before I started eating that much protein, and the first week, I tracked before I even really committed to the fat loss journey. I just tracked what I ate in a MyFitnessPal. And I was shocked to see that I was only really tracking about 60 grams of protein per day. But if you're going to want to lose that belly fat by increasing your protein is going to be a game changer. So what does that actually look like if I'm not eating a whole chicken 2-3 times a day? Well, consider this. Think about food swaps. So for example, if I am eating something that normally I would eat maybe like sour cream, then try swapping that with Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, which is going to be probably about 2 to 3 times more protein than sour cream. You can also have other food swaps. I didn't cut out any food group during this entire fat loss journey. If I wanted pizza, some days I ate pizza with a gluten-free crust or a regular crust if I was really craving it. But a lot of the times I would swap it out for a chicken crust pizza, and the crust alone would be a can of chicken. And so that alone is about 30 grams of protein before I put on any toppings, compared to anywhere from 5 to 10 grams of protein in a normal pizza. So the 3rd tip of increasing your protein is just start thinking about food swaps. If you're craving something, how can I swap this item out for something that has more protein? If you want to eat, some nacho chips, for example, while you're making, some kind of taco bowl, then why not make some cottage cheese chips? And I have a recipe that I tried out last week, and I'll post it right here. Also, other ways to increase your protein is by stacking proteins. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're going to have, maybe you want some pasta tonight. So instead of using your regular spaghetti noodles, why not get something that's higher in protein like a chickpea noodle and then boil it in a bone broth, which is a higher protein than chicken broth. And then that right there, you've already created about 25 grams of protein compared to just simply having the regular wheat pasta at 5 grams. So those are just a couple of different ways that you can increase your protein with very little effort. And that's what I'm all about, is finding ways to increase my protein without having to, really think about how much I'm eating. I'm eating the same foods, but just in a different way. So tip number 3, increase your protein. Well, I've covered 3 of the 5 tips of how I would lose my belly fat by summertime if I had to do it all over again. So comment below and let me know if you think those first 3 are doable. Can you do it? Can you get your mind right? Can you stay your ass off the scale? Can you eat a little bit more protein? Just let me know in the comments. And now on to tip number 4. Tip number 4, moving on, is to cut out your sugars and refined, flours. And I know you want the donuts, and I know you want the pops and all these other things. But this kind of goes into sort of piggybacking on the protein, is you're finding food swaps. So for example, if you are constantly, drinking or have to drink a couple of cans of pop or soda every day, then just switch it out for the diet version or the zero sugar version if you can't cut it out altogether. I'm a very big advocate and drinker of water. I, really don't drink a lot of juices and soda, so that automatically is going to help your belly fat right there if you can cut it out altogether and just drink more water. But if you can't, then look for the food swaps, the 0 calories sodas. Instead of having maybe 3 a day, then try just going down to 1 a day. When it comes to all of those heavy sugary coffee drinks from Starbucks and other coffee houses, try to make your own by, maybe buying a vanilla flavored coffee that you can brew at home and using whipping cream and, a sugar-free syrup. Now, I know a sugar-free syrup may have some chemicals in it, but I guarantee you it's not as many chemicals in it as your flavored coffee creamer. So once again, just concentrate on those food swaps when it comes to those sugars and refined flours. If you want a bagel, there's all kinds of recipes out there that you can make a high protein bagel by just using a couple of different ingredients. If you're looking for brownies and other sweet snacks, then I have another video that I'll post right here that you can go and look at some great high protein, no bake desserts. So you've got to find a way to make those food swaps to get the sugar out of your diet, but also be able to satisfy that sweet tooth. So that's my tip number 4, is to cut out your sugars and refined flours. You know what I mean? That's tip 4, girl. Okay, my final tip 5, now that we've gotten the mindset together and you know what you're going to be eating as far as your proteins and cutting out your sugars and things of that nature, is let's talk about your workout routine. So I have a 2-2-2 split, and what that looks like is 2 days I do upper body, 2 days I do lower body, and then 2 days I actually walk like 5+ miles. So on Mondays and Thursdays is my upper body day, and Tuesdays and Fridays is my lower body day. And then Wednesday and probably Saturday is going to be the days that I will walk 5 miles. So lifting heavy, I'm sure you've heard that. And people always say, well, let's just work out and lift heavy. But what does that look like? Well, lifting heavy is different for everyone. So if you have dumbbells at home or you go to a gym, and if you can easily pick up the 10 pounds, then that's not heavy enough. If you can easily pick up the next weight, that's not heavy enough. You need to pick up a weight in which it's a challenge for you to really get to the last rep within your circuit. If you're saying, well, I don't have the equipment to work out at home or go to the gym, well, there's a lot of videos on YouTube, not by myself, or other content creators that can help guide you, but you've got to put in the exercise work to build more muscle in order to help your body burn the fat. Now on Sundays, that's kind of like my rest day, and what I like to do on the Sunday, if I choose not to walk, is I may even consider that a fast day. So something else that I have incorporated into my lifestyle that helped me to burn my belly fat was fasting. I used to do like a normal Monday through Friday 16-8, meaning I would fast 16 hours and eat 8 hours in an 8-hour window, but I don't really do that anymore. I usually eat like immediately within an hour after I finish my workout, and then I'll go 2 to 3 hours after that for lunch, and then 2 to 3 hours after that for dinner. until I have reached my protein goals. But on Sunday, I will fast occasionally. And what that looks like is my last meal on Saturday night, I will fast all the way to Monday morning, which is a 36-hour fast. Now, I'm going to attempt to start a 5-day water fast coming up. And who knows, maybe I'll put a challenge out there and we can suffer together. Not necessarily suffering, but fasting is, from what I'm told, is a great body healer, and it definitely gives your digestive system a break. So is definitely something that you want to consider, figuring out a workout routine that's going to help you to, stay consistent with this entire fat loss journey to get you fine by summertime. Well, there you have it, my 5 tips of how I would lose my belly fat by summertime if I had to do it all over again. If you need some additional help or guidance or really want to know what all that I did, there's plenty of videos on this channel, starting from my very first day of my winter arc journey all the way up to my 90-day body reveal. I'll be doing another body reveal here on the 6-month mark to see if I stop eating chips, if I can get rid of this little extra fat that's on my back. And also, if you need, more of a guide of how to put it all together, then I have created a guide called the Perimenopausal Playbook, and you can learn more about it on Lose the Fat 2025. And I'll also put in a discount code for those of you that have stuck around. You can get 20% off the guide. So until next time, get up, get going, and get there.